Hold on. I think we have her. Yes. Drum roll. Brrr. You guys see her? Hi, Marissa. Hey. Oh my God. Love your nails.
Thank you. Don't they look
I
like
let you know that you're like sideways.
Oh no, hold on. I always have to like reset it for some reason.
Oh my God. Since we've done this, oh, your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh my God. I love your hair.
Thanks.
Hey. So it's so funny because I'm like, since we've done podcasts before, but not live. And I'm like, wait, I thought I had it all set. I had it all ready and I'm going to send her the link. And I'm like, so when you go directly through YouTube, that's a whole different story than whatever. I don't want to bore the audience. You're here.
I am here. Finally. It's only been like a month or two since our last one, right?
Right? It's so funny because I hope they can hear you because I can hear you, but I'm using the speakers from the computer to hear you.
So
hold on a second. I'm going to be totally like somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Say something. But I'm using the speakers.
Okay, I'm going to say something. I am hearing feedback though. Like I can hear echoing.
Okay. It's good. It's good. Yeah, it's feedback because the live shows it like almost like a minute later.
Yeah, okay.
Usually it's like a couple seconds. So how you doing? How you been? Introduce yourself.
Hi, Marissa. I painted my room since last time, guys.
Yes, you did.
It's green now, much more like earthy and me with the plant that I'm like sort of almost killing, but like she's alive. Yeah, my hair's different, but still me. Still Marissa, the photographer person. That one.
I love it. So you went green just for that. To be more earthy.
I mean, it used to be like blue, like bright blue, which was just like, it was cool for a while. And now I was just like really over it. I've been wanting to paint my room forever. But yeah, I wanted a more like earthy vibe, you know? Fits my Virgo aesthetic.
Totally. But it's specifically like not a khaki green, but it's not a grass green.
Yeah, it's like a sandy green. I don't know what you would call it. I forget what it's actually called. Yes.
Funny because you are a sage. So have you been? I know you were on vacation a couple times.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot. Just like little traveling. I went to Hershey a couple weeks ago. Did the whole like chocolate factory thing. Stayed in Harrisburg, which I actually ended up loving. I might be the only person who will ever say that I love Harrisburg, PA. It was like such a cute little tiny artsy city. Like it was cute. Yeah, I think last time we had talked about my Virginia Beach trip, so I don't know if we got to go through that. But yeah,
I mean, we talked, but not on the podcast.
Okay. Virginia Beach was cool. It was very quiet because we went in like in April, like the end of April. So it was before like summer really is like in gear. So it was very quiet. Not a lot of people down there. We still got a couple good beach days out of it though. It was nice. Nice to get away.
It's funny you just mentioned Virginia Beach. My little brother was born in Virginia Beach.
Of course.
Right? Like, I didn't tell you that.
No, I had no idea.
So, did you see the title
of this part 2? Yeah. I read the book.
So I was telling a lot of friends of mine, even clients of mine, about that. And I'm like, I hadn't read it yet. But, you know, for those that didn't see part 1, where we talk about how you and I connected with that book and how I bought that years ago. And I never read it, but my whole thing was the title itself was, you know, and even the writer, right? Steve Harvey. It's like,
yeah.
Like, who's this guy? What? It's like Bill Gates. Like, what makes you a vaccination expert? I mean, are you kidding me? You're a computer dude. Anyway, so I've been dying to find out because you texted me the other day. You're like, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So the stage is yours, baby.
All right. So read the book, finished the book. It was good.
Wait, how long did it take you to read it?
Like 3 weeks, maybe, like on and off reading it.
Like an hour to a day?
Yeah, it's just like I like 2-3 chapters a day, something like that. I read it. One thing I want to say first, because actually I have two like major things. So the first thing is I was slightly disappointed actually with how the book was written, because it was Steve Harvey. So I like in the first episode we were talking about, cool, it's a comedian, like maybe it'll be like more lighthearted and like funny, you know. He was an established comedian when he had written that book. So an audience picking up a book written by a comedian, you're like expecting it to be funny. Not saying that he wasn't funny in it, but like I was expecting more. I was expecting more jokes. I was expecting more like silly metaphors and stuff like that. But there really wasn't too much in there. I mean, like, yes, it was a little chuckle here and there, but I've laughed harder at books who weren't written by comedians. So that was number one that I wanted to bring up. Number two is the whole book kind of focuses on women who have children, not like younger women who are single,
Oh,
or
that's
just women in general who are single. Yeah, a lot of the chapters.
Obviously, I did not know that because I did not read the book, but I did not expect that.
Yeah, there's like an underlying theme of what like situations you'll get into with like a man and your kids or something, and it's just like, oh, it was just strange to me because it's a very fine like target audience is like women who may or may not have been married before, who have kids like still. And also there's very much underlying theme of being religious. Like there's a couple chapters on like your man must be faithful and stuff like that, and that doesn't really connect with me at all, because
faithful because of religion, or faithful because they are committed to the relationship to be faithful,
like have a relationship with God type faithful.
Oh, so he talks about God.
Yeah. And he wasn't like shoving religion down your throat in any type of way, but it was still brought up a few more times than I feel like I would have liked, because I feel like the more and more I read it, the more I was waiting for like a chapter on like something that I could relate to as like a young woman, but like there wasn't really much. Like a lot of it was directed towards women who have been through the dating cycle and are like trying to find like the man of their dreams to settle down with and like meet their kids. Yeah.
Well, I guess like when it has to do with anything, marketing, writing, like you have to know what's your audience, right? So I guess that was his literal reason for writing that book.
I mean, it makes sense. After I like thought about it, I did kind of realize like he talks about his shows that he did at like the time he was writing it, how a lot of like moms would call in and stuff. Those are the people, that target audience is the people like watching his show. So it makes sense. But like it doesn't say anywhere like on the back of the book anything about like specifically women who were married before with kids. Like it just kind of puts everyone into a general thing, and then you read it and you get through it and you're like, oh, this was kind of targeted to a specific type of person. And
so it's funny because why did you remember you mentioned in the first episode or part one of this podcast, you had mentioned when I asked you, I'm like, why did you pick that book? I mean, our connection to why we both had that book, that's another story. But but I asked you, remember, I was like, why did you pick that book? And like you just said, that's what I remember. You said, I thought comedian, lighthearted and just curiosity, like at least it'd be entertaining at the very least. I believe that you didn't really convince me that you actually bought it because you thought this guy's an expert on relationships.
For sure, yeah.
Right.
Which might have been why I was like a slightly disappointed, because I bought it to be, I mean, it was an entertaining book. Like it didn't take me long to get through it. It was an easy read, but I don't know. I just had more, I felt like it was going to be more Steve Harvey-esque, but it kind of was just like some old dude talking about relationships. Like I don't know. There wasn't much of like Steve Harvey's like voice in there. I feel like it wasn't like I was reading a funny book.
Do you think he actually wrote it?
I don't know. Now that I like read it, like there was probably a heavy influence of other people in there, or maybe like the editors kind of had him take some jokes out or something, maybe just to make it less like, you know, funny and stupid. Stupid in quotations, but like comedic. Because like seriously, I've read books before, like novels by art, like regular writers who aren't comedians, who I've laughed harder at their book. So that was just slightly disappointing to me. But I mean, otherwise, I don't think you can necessarily take anything from that book like to heart and like tattooed on your arm or something. But I mean, it was a good read.
But I mean, I've looked at the reviews. I've looked, and that book was written over 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I believe he had like another edition of the exact same book. So he's done well. Like I looked at Amazon, the reviews, like people are still buying it and people are still reviewing it and saying like really good things about it. And again, you know, we're not talking about this to minimize him or to trash him or trash the book, but I had a massive issue with the title, as we mentioned in the first podcast, where act like a lady, think like a man, coming from a man. I don't even care if he's a comedian, but the fact is, okay, so you're not an expert and you're not a woman, and you're going to tell a woman how to think, act like a lady. So you, a man, and again, I'm not, you know, with today's culture where, you know, he, she, they, them, whatever, binary, non-binary, fluid, all this bullshit. And what I mean by bullshit is that I just don't like, it's like somebody, I don't know, I hate to like, I don't want to be racist into this, but like, it's like a white guy telling a black guy how to act like a white guy, or you know what I mean? Like, you're not even a woman. You're not even a woman. I mean, I would have much rather that title say, as a man, right? Here's what men want. Like, men want women to act like ladies. And then he gives this definition of what was a lady. But again, so are you telling women how to be a lady? Or are you going to tell me that these are female types that I think that I equate to being ladies versus just women? Get my point?
Yeah. I
have such an issue with this. Go ahead.
I feel like the issue is in the first half of the title, which is just act like a lady, especially coming from a man. Like if a woman had written that book, maybe there wouldn't be like an issue. But there wasn't really much even in the book that was like, all right, ladies, like this is how you act. It was more like, let's put you inside of the head of a man so you understand how we think versus how you think. So like, poor title, maybe it just sounded good in his head and he was like, yeah, let's go with that. But like, it really didn't grab like the actual point of the book well, I don't think at all.
Okay. All right. So I think, okay, obviously there's much more that you found out, but already I'm thinking, so, oh my God, I'm just shooting off with all these questions. Do you think this book is helpful? Even if you are a single mother, because remember you said that's the audience it looks like he's talking to.
I'm not a single mother, don't have kids, only tiny bit of relationship experience. To me, I finished this book like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. There's nothing that like to this day I'm still like, oh, I remember that one thing he said in that one chapter. Like it all just kind of like, I read it, it was cool in the moment, and then like once I turned the page, it's like cool, whatever, that's gone, next thing. But again, I didn't really relate directly to any of it that he was really talking about. So possibly all these women who have had a lot of relationship experience who are in these like exact situations that he's talking about, they can probably definitely take something from it.
Like what?
Whether it's
like what?
Well, maybe it might even be, you know what, this guy's right. Like, this is totally how my husband or ex-husband was thinking in this situation. I can totally, it makes me understand it better, makes me understand like how men handle situations and like how their brain works. Or they could have been like, you know, this man's kind of full of shit, and my situation was the same like backbone, but totally different, dealing with different types of people, dealing with the different children, like stuff like that. I feel like it was just very tight knit on a specific type of people, specific situation kind of thing. So if you fit in that, probably was helpful, but if you didn't, it's kind of just like read it and cool, but you're not really gonna like keep any of that with you. And I was like also kind of reading it to pick up stuff that was like, ooh, that's very contradicting, especially in today's day, reading it now. But there really wasn't anything that was like stood out to me that was like, oh, we really need to talk about this, or I can't believe this passed, or I can't believe this is still in the book, or stuff like that. Like, there really wasn't much in there. Kind of just like blah. Like, I don't know. I read it fast, which is weird because like in the moment I was like, yeah, I can't wait to like keep reading this and finish it. But like at the end I was just like, oh, it's over now. I wasn't like, oh man, I want to get the next one.
My thing is, so obviously, like I've already said, I had an issue with the title, but okay, so for anybody watching this, you know, if you're married, you're single, but I'm, again, without reading the book, I'm not supposed to say much because I haven't read it. But the fact that I had, you know, I'm very intuitive. So I'm like, I don't need to read this to know. And don't get me wrong, I was going to read it. That was the whole purpose. I haven't read it though. And after you told me you read it, I actually didn't want to read it. I was like, and then maybe I'll read it next time, and then we'll do like a part 3 on this.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you I'm going to be highlighting stuff. And not to criticize the book like it's a shitty book or screw him, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No, I actually want to look for these details of, is he really empowering women? I think that's the question I want to ask you. Was there anything, honestly, like, did you think, let's go back to the title. He doesn't say married women or single mothers. He's saying, act like a lady, think like a man. So essentially the title's telling you, I'm going to show you how to think like a guy. And I'm going to tell you how to act like a lady, because that's what guys want. Yeah. I remember my biggest issue was when I did discover this book, you know, over 10 years ago, it was, again, it's not just the fact that he's a male or he's not even an expert. He could have great insight. You know, he's got life experience. He doesn't have to be a therapist, you know, a counselor, relationship counselor, or marriage counselor, anything like that. So I was open to that, but I'm going, you know, there better be some good shit in there. Because I remember when he was promoting that book years ago, he had mentioned how women, the thing that highlighted to me was one comment that he made about when a guy takes you to his car, right? And back in the day, a chivalrous man would go and open the door for you and let you go in and then close behind you, right? But in the modern era, when you got the tweet, right? And so you can just unlock the door and let her help herself. So he mentioned that in one of his interviews about this book, about how women need to not allow the guy to do that and be like, you know what I mean? Like, like you're my slave, you know, like obey me like a dog call, you know, like, you know what I mean? Come here, boy. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that because I'm actually of that mentality where, get this. So I don't know. I think the movie was called American Tail. I think De Niro was in it. I could be totally messed up, wrong. I'll look it up and I'll like put the link in the description below. But anyway, I just remember I was watching the movie. I think I was a teenager, maybe late teens, early 20s. It was definitely like, I'm sure, teens. Anyway, so in the movie, there's a scene where he opens a car door and then the girl leans over and opens his from the inside. And I forget exactly. I'm telling you, I got the tip of my tongue about this movie. And he was like, that's a keeper. Like that type of woman is a keeper. And what's funny is that before the movie came out, I was doing that. So going back to connect to his whole, don't let a guy just go and let you in the car. It's not about the modern technology that's changing the way we date, we court, right? The chivalry of all of it. For me, when I would lean over and open the car door, and I still do to this day, whether I'm in your car, anybody's car, to me, it's not even about dating or male or female. It's about thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
Like, I got your back, and think about it. If I was in your car and I lean over and I open the door, I mean, you don't need me to, you're not handicapped or whatever. And even if you were, right, doesn't matter. And not only did I would open the door, which I still do to this day, no matter whose car I'm in, when I'm in the passenger side, I literally not just open it, I push it open. And I've never had somebody go, oh, thank you. Meaning they've all said that. Like, oh, thank you. But I noticed the difference between when I do it now versus when I did it 10 years ago versus when I did it 20 years ago. Like before, everyone like knew it. It's like an unwritten rule. Or like now everyone's like, oh, thanks. Like I didn't need you to do that, but they can't help themselves to say, thank you.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that was nice. And I'm going, yeah, that's why I did it.
Yeah.
It's not about chivalry. It's not about I'm dating you. It's not that I want, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Because you know how many women also have been out there, especially, I would say your generation the most, but like, but it's not just your generation. This shit was happening in the 70s too, with the women's lib and stuff like that, where it's like, what's wrong with opening the door for someone? Like I still do that to this day at the supermarket, anywhere I go, whether it's a male or a female, I don't give a shit. And and sometimes I'll find a guy, usually never a woman, typically a man, where he's like, no, I got it. Cause it's like, you know what I mean? And I understand like, okay, culturally, they felt that men do that, not women. But for me, it's just about being nice to people. It's just about being courteous. I just love to make people feel special and put a smile on their face.
Right. You're not doing it because you want to act like a man would, like in a situation, and you're not doing it to like belittle your womanhood. You're just doing it out of the kindness of your heart, and you feel like putting in effort for somebody else. And it's weird that you mentioned that example, because that's like one of the parts of the book that I did kind of remember. He must have been talking about just the whole like how women should be like, don't forget what it is to be a woman. Like, let the man do this for you, let the man do that for you. Like men want to feel like they're in charge, and they shouldn't like suffocate you with that, but like they like to feel like they're here for a reason, and without them you would kind of not be less of who you are, but like they want to feel needed and like wanted, and as if they're helping you in some sort of way. Which
so you're saying that he's saying that men want to be needed.
Yes.
And I know that's like an old tale or old mentality, but like, who doesn't want to feel needed?
Right. Exactly.
That's our human nature to feel needed.
And I feel like some, like, just as simple as like, don't let a man, like, don't walk in the door without a man opening it for you. I feel super awkward if I'm like in front of my boyfriend and he's like, and I got to move out of the way to like let him open the door for me. Like, that's just not how like it works really anymore. And I'd rather open the door for myself than like have him do it anyway.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one. So when that happens and you open your door, do you hold it for him or do you slam it in his face?
No, I hold it because I mean, it would take more effort for me to finesse my way into the door and then like slam it behind him. Like,
so you do hold it open for him.
Yeah, and I feel like he typically like walks behind me. So like,
okay, so here's a twist. Here's
Okay.
a twist. Here's a twist. Here's a twist. I literally, because I do typically walk in front. In fact, I was just walking down the street the other day with a male friend.
Okay.
You might, yeah, right? Like, you might call it a date. But anyway, with a male friend. And he started walking in front of me and I go, hey. But like, me, I'm kind of like, I can be very professional, as you know, right? Put my little jacket on and stuff. But like in reality, I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? And my father years ago, he's like, honey, if I didn't know you were born in Naples, I would have thought you're from Philadelphia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just really an attitude. Because growing up in Spain, people would always be like, if I didn't know you were from Spain, I would have thought you're from New York. Because I had this attitude, right? So I love to mention that all the time. Because it's not because I live in Philadelphia or I've been here for a long time. I've had this attitude my whole life. Like I'm just abrasive. I'm not ladylike.
Right. And that's why like I kind of wasn't relating to his book at all, because he was talking about women who kind of, I don't want to like say like that's a bad thing, but like there's some girls, some of my friends are very like reliant on the man that they're with, and they like to have their man get them coffee every morning, and they like to wake up to that like morning text, oh my god, I love you, like whatever. Like that's just not me. That's not how I was raised. My father wasn't really in my life, so I didn't really have much of like a need for men's attention like all the time. Like I feel like his book is just so driven on like these women who see, it's weird because he talks a lot about like these independent women because they're single with kids and that they're independent, but he also is like, but stop doing that, stop being independent, because we like it when we can just help you and make your life easier, and we like to do the little things for you and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I love that you're mentioning that. Okay, so going back to the whole you opening the door and you're saying you're holding it for him. I literally, in fact, there was an old man. In fact, I know exactly where it was. We were at the veterinarian. We were at the ER picking up his cat. And there was an elder man holding the door open. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the fact that he was walking in front of me. And I go, hey, what are you doing? Don't ever walk in front of me. Because think about it. You don't know what's happening to me. If you care about me, right? It's not about male or female. It's, I don't want to walk in front of you and not know what's going on. Like I got my eyes are my asshole. You know what I mean? Like I'm paying attention. So that was my thing. And if you don't bring it to their attention, they just continue to do it, which when you're my age, you realize that these little things accumulate and they have a future. So it's not about the male female thing. It's they need to be reminded. And so going back to you holding the door, I literally, not because I'm a woman, it's if I let them slack, they will slack because that's human nature, whether you're male or female. So what I do, if I'm walking in front of the person and I get to the door first, I literally wait and I look at them. And even if they've never met me and they don't know what's she doing? They know it's like instinctual. Then I'm just like, and I smile like I'm not a bitch about it. Right. I'm like, and they're like, oh, and then say I'm too far to the left or the right, wherever the door opens, but I'll literally be conscious. And here's what I do. So once they go, oh, and they open the door, I go, thank you. And you say it in a way and you give them a look and they're like, wow. And they love it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not about being a bitch, or I know it's awkward if you're in front of them, but so what? Take a step, take a second. They love that. And I love it too. And you would love it because it's being thoughtful.
Yeah.
But going back to what you just said too, anyway, because I just want to finish because we were talking about that a minute ago. But what you were just, hold on. The last thing you just said about, and being taken care of. And being needy and all this stuff. Okay. All right. So again, he's old school. I think he's my generation, Gen X. He could be a boomer, but I think he's Gen X. But and I get it. He's like, the guy wants to feel needed. Again, you're stereotyping. And because of my work and what I've done for the last, 30 years, but specifically 15 years of interpersonal relationships, it's just about never taking each other for granted.
Yeah.
Even friendships. It's not just about men and women dating or opposite sex or the same sex dating. It's getting out of your way to never, ever take you for granted. And so every time that, yes, we're in a hurry, we're going to go to the store and they don't open the door for me, right? The car door. I literally would be like, hey, what are you doing? Because I know that when I let them out of it, or if I let it go, it becomes a thing. And then you're just not special anymore.
Yeah. And
again, it's not about the male female thing. It's not even about dating relationships. I even do it with my friends to this day. Like I had a meeting the other day, or hooked up with a friend of mine, and he was like, you know, the thing that makes you so spectacular? I'm like, I don't know where he's coming from. Like, where's that coming from? He goes, it's the way you appreciate everything. Because so the other day I was cooking a meal. First of all, I cook all the time from scratch, 3 times a day, whatever. And, you know, I love to buy nothing but organic or like farm, fresh, local. Yeah. Like, it's not because I'm a snob. It's because I want the best. I want the best flavor. I want the best experience. And I never take one for granted, because if I were going to die tonight and tonight was my last meal, I don't want a Burger King. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, what if I died tomorrow and this is my last meal, right? So it's not about convenience. It's not about rushing. It's not about whatever, does a trick, whatever. No, because that's what happens. We take it for granted that we're going to be there tomorrow. All of us, no matter what age. And everybody dies at every age. Even if predominantly we die at old age, everybody dies at crazy ages, right? Car accident, all kinds of shit. Right. So the other day I was hungry and I was really busy. And so I tried to cut corners when I was making my dinner, and I wanted a curry sauce to whatever I was making, but I didn't have the time and I was hungry. So I was cutting corners, and I don't buy like mixed curry paste shit or powder. Like, I make my own curry. But that day I go, oh, I want to taste Indian curry, but I don't have time, or I'm not impatient because I'm hungry. And I grabbed this spice that I made myself called garam masala. And it's almost like putting black pepper on the finished dish. And I thought, if I just put a ton of that stuff, it's going to taste Indian. Yeah. And I'm going to have a great Indian rice with egg stuff. Dude, it was so bad.
Oh, no.
It was so bad. I mean, I ate it because I don't throw anything away. But I was so pissed that the next day I had to literally make sure that my meal was spectacular. Like I always do, meaning, again, because if today was my last day, I want to appreciate every moment and every bite, right? But I couldn't get over the day before that my rushing it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like sex. Like, I know people are like, oh, you just want a quickie? I get it. It sounds good. It sounds like, hey, maybe we can't have sex for an hour today, but hey, how about a quickie? And you're like, yeah. You know, it suits my need. Well, if the quicky's good, right? So if we can have sex and in 1 minute, it's like, oh, shit. But I don't like the quickie when it's like wham, bam, thank you, bam, where there's no connection. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can kiss you and hug you and come like a fucking champ in 1 minute. I actually can do that.
That's impressive.
Yes. And you know why? Because I had an ex-husband who used to use sex to manipulate me.
Perfect.
And so I had to kiss his ass to have sex. I'm sorry.
I said I love the toxicity.
It was horrible. And I was young and I was very horny, and he was my first. And he was just like, he knew it. And at the same time, it was like, he almost like had pressure over it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, all she wants to do is have sex. You know what I mean? Like, and most guys are like, what? In fact, I remember when I was married to him, his friends were like, dude, you got a hot girl and she wants to fuck you all day. Are you kidding me?
Right. Like, what's your problem? What's the issue?
His issue was control. And because his own insecurities and his own issues. But at the end of the day, I started to figure out ways to manipulate it to get laid, right? So I'm like, oh, I'll massage him, right? He was like, I got a headache. That's what he would say, not have sex. So because I was so desperate and I was so young and he was my first, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how does life start out this way? Like, no. And he was awesome in the beginning. It was after we got married that he was like, no, my head hurts. Meh, meh, meh. Meanwhile, I'm all revved up. And I learned to like massage him to get him to have an erection. And then even when he had a headache and I'm massaging, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you feeling better, huh? You're feeling better. And then I would literally flip him. Look how pathetic this is, but this is the truth. That I would flip him and I would sit on top of him and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I learned from that to come within a minute.
That's crazy.
And that was just out of like need, necessity, like, you know, bust a nut, scratch the itch kind of a thing. But because of that, I have been able to have sex and come immediately at will. So all I need to do is like grab you by, because I'm very passionate. I'm like very sensual. Like I think it's fucking, again, it's like, I don't want a fucking cheap ass fucking McDonald's burger. No, I'm going to grind the meat myself. I'll kill the cow myself. Just to make that experience, like that bite, like, oh.
Yeah.
So if we only have 1 minute to have sex, I'm going to grab the back of your head and I'm going to smell you and touch you and kiss you and then bam, bam, bam. But you get what I mean? Like, okay, I'm sorry.
Why did you even start talking about that?
I know. Fucking think like a lady. No. Oh, isn't that crazy? It's supposed to be act like a lady, think like a man. And I just said, think like a lady. My own brother's like, you're not lady like a night, which is the other reason why the book got me.
Yeah.
So like,
it's like, I don't even want to think like a lady, like act like a lady.
Again, and these are men. Okay, you shouldn't talk like that. You shouldn't use profanity, lady. That's not ladylike. Hey, who are you?
If you don't like it, then like I'm not the one for you. Then bye. Like,
but these are my own siblings. Like it's just because you're so intelligent and you're so educated. You shouldn't be talking like that.
What does it do to you? Are you getting hurt because of it? No. Stop. Mind your own business.
It's their own perception, their own their ideal of. And so my brother would say to me, you're so attractive. You know, some brothers never say that, right? Like, you're their sister. Like, maybe they know you're not ugly or something, but they're not going to say. So their whole thing was, you know, you got all this going for you. Why are you ruining it with your mouth? Like this mouth, this mouth, like this mouth. Like, again, I know, like when you meet somebody's parents, you know, and you walk up and they're like, oh, like say I meet your parents and they go, oh, she's so nice. She's so sweet. We love her. I'm being nice and I'm doing it for you. Like, to show them respect. Now, obviously, the moment we get comfortable, I'm hoping, but I know that if you say to me, dude, my parents are really strict or whatever, I'm going to tone it down. I'm going to keep that filter on. But how does so I'm acting because if I'm really me, I'm not ladylike.
Right. Yeah. Neither am I.
Now act like a lady, bitch. And how many ladies can come at will? Right? You can't be acting like a lady.
Yeah.
And fucking like a whore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Did he say that in the book, by the way?
No.
Did he say that?
He talked.
He never mentioned sex.
No, he mentioned how men need sex, but he never got into like what women should do, act like during sex. All he said was definitely fuck your man or else he's gonna leave you.
Oh, I'm not surprised. That's classic.
Yeah.
In fact, I had Dominican. I have a lot of friends and many of them Dominican, but that's one of the things that I heard many times from my Dominican friends, that they're literally raised by their grandmothers to tell them like, fuck your man or he's going to cheat on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So fuck somebody when you don't want to fuck them
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to cheat on you. What? And
There's
see
a whole
what I mean?
chapter
Like,
about
it's still, people are still writing this shit. People are still, ugh. How about he, she, whoever your partner is so into you. They're so in love with you that they can't try to fuck somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they're so into you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There is a
I'm not saying that not having sex with your partner is going to keep your partner faithful. I'm not saying that doesn't work. But literally, I have known so many men who literally cheat because they say, I was born to be a cheater. My wife fucks me all the time. Everything's great. Love her. She's beautiful. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But I have this need, and I think it's my, genetic, instinctual nature.
Yeah. He kind of touches on that, on like that whole like animalistic, like man, like human, not man, not just woman. Like we're animals, and something we like to do. It's a pleasurable thing to have sex, so that's what we do. But there's a whole chapter in there on like why men cheat, and it's basically, he boils it down to because we don't feel needed, appreciated, or you're not fucking us enough, or we're not getting sex like it used to be, or whatever. Like it's just plain sex, and we need
I love that you're saying that, because I've been coaching people for years now about how that's a classic falsehood. It's not the case.
Yeah.
It's no, ew. But you're nailing it, because that's exactly not just in his book. It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
He needs to be needed. He needs sex. Why didn't he mention, or did he? I should make that a question. Did he mention how many women fake orgasms to please the man?
No.
Did he mention, is he even good in bed?
No.
Because some are so horrible, not some, most are so horrible that literally these women have sex, and like women are, and I'm not defending women because I'm a woman, because I'm not, because I tell women all the time, be honest, communicate, tell them what you want, explain to them, show them, hold their hand, move it for them.
Yeah.
Literally. Like if I want my tits grabbed at a certain moment and they're not doing it, I know already. Just grab their hand, boom.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, she wants me to grab her breasts. And it's like, yeah. And we don't have to talk about it. So it doesn't like create like this wet blanket moment, right? There's like, boom.
Yeah.
And I understand it's hard. Here's what I will say. Anybody can give advice and shoot it out. But if we go really to the moment, at that moment, if I grab the guy's hand and I tell him what I want physically, right? Meaning grab his hand, grab my breast, right? At that moment, that will turn me off. When I'm thinking I have to tell the guy what to do.
Yeah.
And it fucks with the fantasy. I get it.
It takes you out of it. Yeah.
But I don't let my brain go there. As soon as my brain goes there, like.
And you'd hope that because you do that the one time, they're going to learn and do it the next time, and you won't have to grab their hand and do it.
Oh, yeah. But guess what also happens? Then they also assume I got to do that every time.
Yeah, true.
And then many times the guy will grab my breast and I go, and I push their hand away. And I get it. We want them to be telepathic. They want us to be telepathic as well, even if they don't say it. But it's not the point. It's how do you make that awkward moment and get over it?
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting at. So I'm going, all right, that's a turn off, that because I'm forcing him, kind of like it's not as beautiful as like when you watch it in a movie, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But I already trained my brain to be like a man. Talk about act like a lady, think like a man. I literally think like a man. And I go, why do they, no matter what, they are focused.
So
and they get to the goal. They get, no matter what, they're like,
there's one goal in mind.
And that's what I did. So my thing is, I trained myself to be like a man. Funny. So he says, act like a lady, think like a man. And yet I have trained myself to be like a man in bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I make sure I'm satisfied.
Very good advice. Very good advice.
Yeah. I'm like, yo. And if they even try to come before me,
right.
I can get
it. I'd be saying no. Like, oh, I'm about to come. No, you're not. I'm not close. So no. This wasn't just a little fucking picnic for you.
Good for you. And who taught you how to do that?
Myself, I guess. I just got tired of, not getting pleasure out of it or just not finishing. So that after time and time again, it's like, no, it's not fun for me unless we both finish.
Are you still in a relationship?
Yeah.
All right. So the reason why I'm asking you, not because we're going to talk about your personal life, but so you're telling your partner, no, I'm not finished, or I'm not. I mean, you're being honest. My question is, how does he feel about it? How does he act? Does he feel annoyed sometimes?
I feel like sometimes he feels like he's letting us, like me and him, down, because he will, if it was up to him, sex would last like 4 minutes and that's it. Like that's all it takes. And I've said it to him even like outside of like actually having sex, like we've talked about it, and he's like, have you seen yourself? Like it's you, it's not me. Like I wish I could last longer, but I can't. It's like, all right, well, how do you think that makes me feel? Like I'm literally just straight up laying there like a fish. Like God forbid I do something.
like a fish. Have you ever heard that term, starfish?
Yeah.
A lot of guys are like, when a girl's like just dead,
yeah,
like she's got no movement, she's not into it or whatever, or she doesn't know how to get into it, right? They're like, here I am fucking a starfish.
But it's
you're
like
saying, I feel like a fish. What do you mean by that?
Just like straight up, like if like he's already like on the verge of like finishing.
He's on the cusp.
So it's like, should I not touch him so he lasts for an extra 10 seconds, or like what? Because God forbid I like touch him somewhere and he's just like, all right, now it's done, now it's over with. It's like, if you want me to put 100%, it's gonna last 4 seconds and I'm gonna be disappointed.
So what? I know we're getting way too personal. But like, so what do you do? I have my techniques, but what do you do to make sure he doesn't climax before you?
I mean, like switch the position up, I guess. But like half the time he does finish first, but then he'll continue after.
Right.
Typically, he won't just stop after that.
Oh, I love this shit. It's so cute. So I do the same.
Yeah.
You have to like stop. Like I'll realize, oh, he's gonna come, and then I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
And not only, sometimes it's not just because I haven't come. Sometimes I've already came 3 times. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I didn't have the big O, is what I call it, the big O, the big orgasm, right? Like the real good one, right? And I get some mini ones. And so I go, when I see that he's like, my thing is, because I love when they get so pumped and they're at the verge, that's when I get the most turned on. So I don't want that to end, right? Yeah. So I'm like, wait, stop. And they're like, no, I can't. I'm like, yeah, stop. Because but I know, you know what I mean? It's like a delicate
little moment. Yeah.
And it's like, but I know that if I make them stop, it'll actually get better and better.
Mm-hmm.
They actually, it feels
longer.
better for them too.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, they get lost in the sauce, you know, like, and so I cut it and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill her for interrupting me so many times. But in the end, when they come to that climax, they're like, you see, you wouldn't have got to that climax if I let you do it the first time.
Right. No, it's like reading the last page of a book, but not when you read the whole thing, you're like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. That's a good ass ending. But if you just jump to the end, it's like, that was all right. Like, because you didn't do the whole beginning part. You didn't put the effort in to get there.
Yep. It's just so funny because talking about this book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and it's like, you know, it's not about he, she, you know?
Yeah.
It's not about same sex, opposite sex, they, them, you know, me, that person, that, you know what I mean? Us. Like, it's just, why be cheap? You know, why cut corners? Why waste time or not appreciate that this could be our last time?
Mm-hmm. A lot of the book kind of is about like don't settle and stuff like that, but he kind of explains like the red flags that you should be looking for to be like, are you settling? Is your man actually living up to that high potential? It's living up to your standards, stuff like that. So I will give him that. Yeah. And actually, when I was reading the book, my boyfriend was like with me a couple of the times that I had it out and was reading, and he was like, what's that book about? And I like explained what it's about, and he's like, oh, is he giving away all of the secrets, like all of our secrets? I was like, I mean, kind of, like that's kind of the point of the book, like to get in your head. And he was like, I don't like that. I don't like that you're reading that. Like, I wonder why. You don't want me to learn how your head works?
That's funny. I like your partner. He sounds like an honest person. He doesn't sound insecure to me at all. And in fact, if he's dealing with you and you guys are in your 20s, like, you're not the norm. You sound like somebody way older, and you're like, all right, man, that's not fun for me.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, again, going back to opening doors, not opening doors, like when people are like, so how do you make a relationship work? Or how do you make, even whether it works, whether you're together a year or 10 years, right? I know that the years I spend with someone, they're unforgettable. I'm still friends with all my exes. I know we've talked about this many times. And why? Because I never, whether it was working or not working, whether I knew I wasn't going to end up with this person or I was moving on for whatever reason, you know, I made sure that every moment, every meal, you know, every interaction. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you're about to embark. I'm already seeing this future with you where if you guys don't end up together in the future, which is just because your age, like, most likely, or maybe you break up and then you get back together and you get married and have kids. You know what I mean? Like that's very typical.
Yeah.
Again, you are not typical. So I wouldn't be surprised that you don't go with anyone else, either of you, and you're married in a couple of years and kids by 30. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that's the thing though. In order for you to be happy, both of you, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you've got to keep that up. You've got to be like, nope, I'm not satisfied.
Right. Yeah.
And the fact, and here's the other thing that I don't know if the book talked about, but like, if somebody truly loves you, they don't want you not to be satisfied.
Yeah.
They will fucking, like, I remember having sex with one of my greatest lovers, probably the greatest partner, lover of my life. I remember like, I was young and I wanted to party all the time and I was in college and this and that and that. And I'd come home from partying and I would like, you know, I would like give him a little.
Yeah.
Just because I just felt bad that he's so nice to me. He never complains that I go out all the time without him, you know? And I mean, I loved him. I also did it for those reasons, but sometimes I was just too tired to have sex, but I wanted to make sure that he was being pleased. Right. And he had no problem with it. But after a while, when he wanted to make love, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't feel good right now. Or basically, I just wasn't into him anymore. And I just wasn't in love with him. And so, but then because I did love him and we had such a great relationship, then I would do it. And I'll never forget it. He stops midway. He goes, no, I don't want to have sex just to have sex.
I want to make
you
love.
to want me.
Yeah, that. It's
You know
not
what I mean?
just
So hopefully in your relationship or anybody in a relationship, they should want that.
Yeah.
They should want the partner to be like, oh, you haven't fucked me in a while. They shouldn't want that. They should want somebody to be like, no, I'd rather jerk off.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It should be definitely when you're in like a serious relationship with someone, it should be more than just sex. Like there has to be more to it than that. You should be learning and growing and building and even.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, say you're already married. And then all of a sudden you're tired, but 9 times out of 10, you have sex just to please your partner.
Yeah.
If they truly love you, they're not going to want that.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, honey, if you're not in the mood, fine.
Right. Yeah.
But that's not what happens in relationships.
Yeah.
There's guilt trips. There's bullshit. There's selfishness. There's people set in their ways or comfortable. That is my freaking kryptonite right there. This is why I am still, I don't know if you want to call it single because I'm not married. That's the reason why I never settle. So I do like that the book mentioned that, because you mentioned that. Nobody should ever settle. But at the same time, did the book talk about long-term relationships? And didn't I tell you? I don't know if we actually said it in the last podcast of this book, part 1. But remember I said that right when he wrote that book and he published it, like 3 months later, he was divorced for like the second or third time.
Yeah.
So he doesn't talk. So he talks about, and okay, let's give him kudos to the fact that he stuck by the title of the book, which is Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. He's not saying this is a book to make sure you are in a happy, successful, long-term relationship.
Which is kind of, which is kind of what the book is actually about. I mean, it is heavily on, hey, women, I know you're who I'm talking to right now. This is how men think, and this is what we need, and this is what we don't need, and yada, yada, yada.
Every man. Here's what I'm going to say. Every man is like any woman and any human. We all want to be loved.
Right.
We all want to love and be loved. And if you go in there with that simple fact, and that's your mantra, and that's your fucking credo, where you're like, I will be loved, right? I'm going to love because everybody wants to love and be loved. That's our human nature, period. Across the board, all cultures, all ages, all sexes. So if you go in with the loving and the other person is also in for the love, what do you do with people that you love? You'll do anything for them. When they're sick, you heal them, you cater to them, you take care of them. You know what I mean? Like when they're changing jobs or getting to another level in their career, you know, you're rooting for them. Like that's love. Like love. If you're acting loving, the relationship will succeed. So fuck what men need.
Yeah.
And fuck what women need.
You shouldn't need a book
think like them. Bitch.
Yeah.
How about just love?
It should be easy. It should be effortless, and not effortless. You should have to put effort. That was the wrong word to use, but it should be, you should want to do all those things. You shouldn't be like, oh my God, Steve Harvey said in the book that I need to do this now. Like,
right. Make sure you have sex with your man.
Yeah.
You don't want him to cheat on you. What?
Yeah.
No, make sure you don't have sex with someone when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because guess what's going to happen? When you start having sex with somebody you don't want to have sex with, or you don't feel like it, although you still want them, but sometimes it starts to become where you're having more time sex when you're not feeling like it, but you do it to get them to shut up or to please them or so they don't cheat on you.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, you're going to resent that person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're not going to want to have sex with them ever again.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And the guys, if and for the men out there, again, stereotyping, if you want your woman to have sex with you as much as you want to have sex, then what are you doing? Are you buying her flowers? Are you cleaning? Are you writing little love notes? Like, what are you doing to make her want to have sex with you, even when she's tired?
Right. What makes you different than any other dude she could go grab at the bar real quick? Like, if you want meaningless sex and meaningless relationship, then cool, but you
Anthony,
shouldn't.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was like, wait, we've been so knee deep in the conversation that I totally not looked at
Who's on
the YouTube chat. What'd you say?
Who's on? What are they
Anthony.
saying?
You know who he is. You met him at the event. He was the DJ.
Okay. Anthony, hello.
I just realized while we were talking, I wasn't paying attention. And then I was like, I should look at the chat, or I should see if anybody's watching us live or commenting.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like interrupt our moment. As you can see, when I get so into it, I'm like, bah, 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 bah. You're so freaking awesome. But wow. Is there anything else about the book that you think is worthy of mentioning?
The only thing else I wanted to mention is my biggest takeaway from it, and maybe this was because I related to it the most, because my boyfriend is just now starting his like real job and stuff. He did say that men need to have like 3 things. I honestly forget what the other 2 were before they can like really put a lot of effort, like 100% into a relationship, and they need to feel grounded and stable in their career, and they need to like be the man that they want to be in their career before they can even think about, having a healthy relationship. And that definitely stuck with me, and I definitely like have seen that, have experienced that. So yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say. But that was like the biggest takeaway I think that I personally gained from that book.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, because it does pertain to you.
Yeah.
And that is a real fact. I would also agree with him on that one. 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's not to say that men can't be in a relationship when they're figuring this stuff out, but just know that like priority number 1 might not be the relationship. It has to be like career first, family, stuff like that. Once that's all grounded and settled and stable, then yes, you should be getting that 100%, but don't feel like you're not getting, don't feel like you're settling just because there's other stuff going on in their life, and there's other priorities that they need to get right first before they can be the man they want to be to you. They need to be the man they want to be to themselves,
Listen to that wisdom. Listen to you.
I should write it.
Because it's not because you read it in that book. You knew that resonated with you because you were like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Does make sense.
But so many people, and stereotyping women in specific, they always were like, we've been dating for a year. He didn't ask me to marry him. Like, it's always like, I want it now. And I've always had more male friends than female friends until the last few years. It seems like now I have more female friends. I don't know why, but I appreciated my male friendships from all the men that would tell me things like, I met the love of my life, Olga. Even players that were total cheater players. And then they were like, I actually met the love of my life and I'm not ready because age. They would say to me, I'm not making enough money.
Yeah. That's
even if they were.
Huge thing. Yeah.
And it was, and in fact, one of them, he was a football player for Florida. I don't know if it was Florida State. And he was like, she was ready to marry then. And he knew, I'm going to lose her if I don't marry her. But he kept saying, I'm not ready. Like, he didn't feel like he financially had. And by the way, he made a lot of money. But
to himself,
he had certain expectations on what he could deliver. Like he wanted a certain lifestyle and a house, a certain type of house, right? Not just a house, you know, like a $500 or $1 million home. Like, for him, if I'm going to marry the love of my life, I want it with all this.
Yeah.
And he literally broke up with her. And years later, to this day, he's like, and he's married to someone else, but he's just like, you know, that whole, the one that got away.
Yeah.
But she didn't get away.
Yeah.
She was like, if you ain't ready to get married, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for somebody who's ready because that's what I want.
Fair. And
Meanwhile,
good for him for wanting to be ready, because he would have been, how miserable do you think it would be to not be able to love the person that you love the way you want to love them and not give them the things that you want to be able to give them?
Exactly. But I'm literally like what they call hopeless romantic in a sense, or just a crazy romantic where I'm like, you don't need money, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Love is all you need. But at the same time, if I remember that, speaking of my ex-husband, he, years later, we reconnected, and he was like, the reason I was so shitty to you is because I felt like I had this goddess and I couldn't afford her.
Mm-hmm.
And then another ex also, he was like, to this day, and I'm a successful man, I still don't think I make enough money to give you what, you know what I mean? Like, it's their own perception of, this is how I want to treat you. And you're like, dude, you broke my heart. Like, I didn't give a shit about your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to them, they couldn't get over it.
Yeah. That's like the shield that blocks them from really seeing much else. And I experience that every day. I make more money than my boyfriend does because I'm a server and he's just starting out in a job. Obviously, I'm making more money. And I think that does get to him in a lot of ways. Like if I asked him to go on a date or something, he kind of like shells up and is like, well, I don't know how many times I can take you to this like 3-star restaurant because I want to take you to the 5-star restaurant, but I can't afford that more than once a year, like type of thing. And I get it. It's gotta, not that I can afford that, but like I know he wants to give me those things and he can't. So that's gotta
hit
the ego a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yet.
Did you ever see the movie The Notebook?
I've watched like parts, like I've watched the whole thing, but I've never sat down and watched like.
Oh my God, I've seen it beginning to end like 1,000 times. But I literally went to the theater when it came out in the theater.
Oh my God.
2005.
Yeah.
That role that Ryan Gosling played, it's, remember, he was poor. She came from money. I mean, I'm that. I understand that men need to have this feeling that they have the money and all this stuff. But I'm still going to tell you that whether you want to call it hopeless romantic or not, I am so obsessed, like convinced and focused on love that don't worry about it. And if I make more money than you, what should concern you is, are you loving me?
Yeah.
Are you kissing me? Are you cuddling me? Are you, even if you don't buy flowers, pick them. Go grab one. Even a dandelion.
Draw a picture of one and
hello. Thank you. And now with modern technology, right? Send me an emoji with flowers, right? Like, just a thought. Just shower me with love, because money cannot buy that.
Yeah.
You know what?
And I think there's some women who do need that. Like, they do want to. There's girls I've met in college when I was at a really fancy school who are like, I just want to marry a man who has a lot of money and I can just be a stay-at-home mom and just, he can just buy me all. Like, that's totally not me. And if
they're
that
stupid.
works for you,
they're stupid. I'm sorry, they're stupid, because they're not even mentioning the fact that if he's an asshole, a psycho, an
like
abuser.
Him at all? Do you like his wallet more than you like his face? Like, hello, what? You're gonna stick with that? He
insults you every day. He's fucking your brother. I mean, your sister.
I mean, hey, maybe.
I mean, for real. Are you? I'm sorry. I know that, and that's a classic thing of women, because that's from the beginning of time. Marry a man, have a baby. He's going to take care of me. I get it, and that's it's a predominant, right? There's some women that are the opposite, but they're the minority, where they're like, I don't need a man. I'm going to do it myself, or they just don't want that lifestyle. But that's a minority of women. The majority are still that way, and they've always been that way. So it's fascinating that you're telling me this, and we're, at least 2 generations apart. So it's fascinating how it's so, like, maybe even ingrained in our DNA. It's not even just cultural, because I've been hearing this from all over the world. No matter what the culture is. But I just can't believe, like, did they have a mother or father? Like, did they watch any movies? Did they read any books? Like, what about the asshole? So he pays for everything. You're a stay-at-home mom and you can't stand him. He can't stand you and he's abusive or he's insulting you.
I think just because at the end of the day, that matters less than like the ring on their finger and the jewelry on their arm and the necklace that they're wearing and the clothes in their closet. Like they're happier to think like their last thought at the end of the night isn't the man sleeping next to me is an asshole. It's, but I have this nice car that he just bought me. So.
And I can show my friends.
Yeah.
And look at the ring.
Take my selfies in it.
Yeah. Oh my God. There was a billboard years ago and it was by somebody anonymous. And the billboard, this is like 15 years ago. And the billboard was right out here in Philadelphia. And the billboard said, don't invite me to your wedding. Invite me to your marriage. Or like, if you invite me to your wedding, I won't come or something like that, but I'll be there at your marriage.
Okay.
Meaning, who cares about your wedding date?
Yeah.
Like, if you're married and you're working it and you're making it happen,
I will be
invite me to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I will come to your house and I'll cheers you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good for you.
Yeah.
To make it work. Mm-hmm. That you're sticking it together. Like you're being real. Like you said, that. All right. So we're done with this book thing.
Yes.
I think we're done with it. And so I would love to have you back as a guest again. And I'm wondering, should we continue this relationship saga?
I think it's cool that we have two generations.
Dude, if you can write notes about your friends, like even like where you work, whatever you hear, like I would love to know, like to be the fly on the wall. I want to know what you're seeing because remember I used to be a server too. And I learned so much when I was a server and a bartender in the hospitality industry. So I would love for you to like write some notes down, like give me some insight. Like what are people saying these days? Yeah. I want to know how much is different today than when I was growing up or not. I don't know. I mean, you're just great. I just love talking to you.
Oh no, we could talk for literally hours. It's been an hour.
I'm telling you, I'm like, we got to stop this. Like, we got to end this podcast. We made our statements. We went above and beyond. And not to cut you short or anything like that, but you're right. I can literally go on in different topics, but I'm thinking, well, if we're going to go like segue to different topics, maybe we should just save it for another podcast.
Yeah. We can definitely spend a whole podcast talking about just the simple things I hear from like 2 girls at work and their relationships with mine in there.
Oh my God. You got to tell me about this.
There's so many.
Most important. Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
No, for real. And I hope a lot of people watch this podcast or listen to it because what you just said, and you're in your 20s, like I want women to hear your strength. I want them to hear your empowerment. Because what you just said earlier about your own experience, besides the book, it's like, I don't usually hear women talk like you, not even my age. So that's impressive. And it's funny because you're like, my dad wasn't really always around, yet how did you become this person? Maybe that's for another podcast too.
Maybe I watched too many movies. I don't know. Too many TV shows. I don't know.
Old soul.
That too.
I read your chart. Like, maybe we should do that too. Remember you were mentioning that maybe we should do like talk about intuition and stuff like that, esoteric.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll throw it out at you. You let me know. But if you want, we'll do the next podcast live and I'll read your chart.
Can we do that? Like, and then I can do like a tarot reading for you or something too. Like we can do a little bit of get our witchiness on. Oh my
God. Let's do it. So I'm going to do like a title like Witches Come Together or something like that. Like I'll do something where people know this is about to go down.
Yes. Cool.
The esoteric. I don't know. I'll text you and see where you help me come up with a title.
Yeah.
But let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it. Because you've been talking about it from the get-go. And yet the book, again, that was a witchy moment.
Yeah.
When I was like, what's in that pocket over there? Like, I'm not trying to like snoop in your room, whatever. And then I'm like, what? No. And again, that's my witchy self.
Yeah.
Okay. It's getting witchy. That's it. All right. You're the best. Thank you so much for being
Of course.
here.
Thank you.
And hey, Anthony said, yo, because I don't know, I guess because you're with me on the Zoom, you're not seeing on the YouTube. But next time I'll prep you to make sure you open a window on the side so you can see like, the chat yourself.
Cool. Yeah,
so
I can
be
open
more
it on
engaged
like
with the
my
audience.
other
But
screen.
anyway,
cool.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
Much love.